June 2014, WagerTalk joined Twitter. August 2014, Prez loaded the first ever picks at WagerTalk. September 2014, Marco D'Angelo and Gianni the Greek filmed the first ever video for WagerTalk TV. Fast forward to today, and we now have over 58,000 Twitter followers, 110,000 subscribers on YouTube, and have become the premier brand in sports betting. So thank you. We truly appreciate everyone who has supported this amazing journey. And on Thursday, January 19th, at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, all daily picks packages that day will be priced at $11, including any 5% best bets normally priced at $35. And all one-day all access, normally priced at $39, will be cut in half and priced at only $19. No coupons will be needed. All handicappers at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo are included in Customer Appreciation Day. And discounts will go live at midnight, Wednesday, January 18th.
Happy Tuesday, guys. Welcome to WagerTalk TV. I am Carmine Bianco with the Tuesday episode of Stoppage Time. It is a quiet week in soccer this week, but we found 4 games that we can talk about so you guys can all get some action. We're going to do the FA Cup replay game between Wolverhampton and Liverpool, a couple EPL games, as Crystal Palace host Man United. And then the other Manchester team are at home, Man City hosting the Tottenham Hotspurs. Those are 3 games. And then we'll go to Italy for a Coppa Italia game as Monza travel to Turin to take on Juventus. With me from WagerTalk.com, it's Nick Borman, Kevin Dolan, and Bryan Powers. Let's bring the guys in. Guys, a quiet midweek. The weekend it'll pick up, and Champions League, of course, is right around the corner. I think we start in just a little under a month. But how are your weekends? Bryan, I'll go to you first.
Weekend was pretty good. Hit the 5% NFL play on Baltimore, wire to wire. I actually, it was 4 straight winning days going into yesterday with 2 5% winners, including that first college basketball 5%er I talked about on the program last week. But the walls came tumbling down yesterday, unfortunately, and we're looking to dust ourselves off and have a nice winning Tuesday. Short card, like you mentioned, just 1 college, 1 NBA today, but looking forward to getting back on track today.
Yeah, listen, it is, I always say on the show, it's about ebbs and flows, and it's a marathon, not a sprint. I have like a very good Saturday. I'm like, ooh, king of the world. And then I have like a 1-6 Sunday. I'm like, what in the world just happened to me? Kev, how you doing, my friend? An easy one for you on the weekend, the Jacksonville Jaguars. That one was never in doubt, my friend.
Never in doubt at all, Carmine. I had complete faith in them at halftime. I was actually tweeting at halftime. I said this team are an absolute disgrace. Never betting them again. So when people came back to me after the end of the game, were like, "Are you sure you stand by these statements?" So I did give the Jags, but fair play to them. Lawrence, what a player! Easily my favorite player right now. So, but we didn't do so well in the books last night, but it's still been an unbelievable run in NFL. 16-3 run, I believe, on 4-5% best bets. And also in soccer, we had a nice mini 2-0 sweep on Sunday in the EPL. We've cashed 4 of our last 5 in the EPL as well. So, pretty happy with that, obviously. And both of the players we're going to talk about on today's show have already fired on as well. These are bets for me. So, obviously looking forward to another big week ahead and, breaking down some of these games.
Yeah, and there's some great games, Kev, coming up this weekend across Europe in a majority of the leagues. And then just around the corner as well, too, I talked about Champions League, but MLS is they're in training camps and they're getting going. And I know you had a great season last year. And this guy, Nick, you had a phenomenal season in MLS. And I know I think you have a deal up as well, too. You and Kevin have a couple season package deals up.
Yeah, that's correct. It's just around the corner, a month away. $2.99 is regular season price. We have it at $2.29, so $70 off right now through the end of January. So a couple weeks to grab that and take advantage of that price. Looking forward to another good season. 4 straight winning MLS seasons at WagerTalk. So hopefully we can make it a sweet 5 in a row. And then this year's a little goofy with the month break in the Leagues Cup in the middle of that, where they're playing, MLS is playing Mexico's Liga MX in like a World Cup style tournament. So that'll be interesting to see how that kind of plays chaos into the season. But it was a up and down weekend. I was happy to say at least I got the 5% winner on Chelsea. My strategy of doing the same thing over and over and expecting Chelsea not to suck ass finally paid off. Well, actually, they still sucked ass, but they somehow still got the 1-0 win over Palace. So I'm happy for that. And then we got golf back up this week, and I got another 5% play on the golf pack this week. I won my first one this season. So I want to know, hopefully we'll get another one this week.
All right. I've never heard of the martingale system on Chelsea, but I'm glad that it for you on that one, and just keep on winning, Nick, and good luck with with that golf play as well too. But we got to get right to it, guys. We got 4 games to discuss. First one on the card is an FA Cup replay game after 2-2 in the first one. Wolves and Liverpool. Let's have a look at the odds on this one. If we can get them up on the screen. Wolves at home plus 239. The draws plus 250. Liverpool plus 115. I'm going to look at this one with Bryan. I'm going to make mine short. This is the way Liverpool's playing right now. It's quite surprising. I don't want to go against them in this game, but they're playing a Wolves team since the managerial change, are playing much better football. And I think this is going to be another one of those ones that is tight throughout and gets decided in the second half, which is why I am leaning to the first half draw. You're getting plus 129 on the first half draw, and I think that's the way to go. I think these teams, once again, feel each other out. I'm not sure what we're going to see as far as lineups for these sides with some fixtures coming up this weekend, but a draw seems, at least for the first half, and this gets decided in the second half. So I'm going first half draw on this one, and then after that, to use a phrase that Pavlos uses all the time, I don't care who wins. First half draw plus 129. Bryan, tell us what you got here.
Okay, so Nick joked about it in our group chat, but these defensive issues for Liverpool are very real. Understats got them 15th in the league in expected goals allowed. They've conceded in 8 straight Premier League matches, 9 straight matches overall. That's pretty bad. And of course, the most embarrassing goal they allowed probably all season was the first one when these sides first met. Just an embarrassing mistake by the goalkeeper. And, something else to remember going back to that first match was that the Wolves had a potential game winner wiped out by VAR. So you talk about the new manager bounce, Carmine. The Wolves have some confidence now. They've had 4 matches in a row where they've been at least even at the end of regulation. They're out of the relegation zone after the 1-0 win over West Ham on Saturday. And, back to Liverpool, they have the disastrous second half against Brighton, outscored 3-0. They were lucky to even get to halftime, 0-0. And that's, 3 straight matches without a win for Liverpool, 8 goals conceded. I talked about the Wolves having some confidence. My only pause is that they had lost 7 straight to Liverpool before the 2-2 draw first time around. But I think I'll take it a step further, Carmine. I think the Wolves can, at the very least, put this into added time. I would take them plus the half goal for 90 minutes plus stoppage.
All right, I like that as well too. They're playing much better and even better attacking football. We've seen over the last few years. The teams under Nuno Espirito that they were basically happy with these games that always seemed to stay under the total of 2.5, and there were 1-0 or 1-1 type games. So getting that plus a half. And in that game, there was a bit of controversy. I think at the end, Wolves did score, and they called it offside. And and I don't even think it was offside from what the images were showing. So I'm not sure whether what happened with VAR on that one. All right, let's head into some EPL games. We got a couple EPL games. First one, Palace and United. Let's have a look at the numbers on this one. Crystal Palace is plus 353 at home. The draw is plus 274. Man United minus 126. Kev, I'm going to go to you first on this one. What a game in the Manchester Derby. One City got in front. It didn't look good for United, but that second half from them, quite impressive game for them. They have come together under Ten Hag, and are looking really good. Top three now. What do you think of this game?
That game almost reminded me of the World Cup final in a way, because the first half, I was actually dozing. I was sitting in my beanbag dozing after that first 45 minutes because it was so, let's face it was a bit boring. But it really opened up in the second half. It was an exciting game from that point on. Like I said at the top of the show, I've already fired in this game. I took Man United to win, combined with the under 3.5 goals at plus 125. I quite like the value in that. As you said, United are playing superb. That's obviously not news to anyone. They're the hottest team in the league right now. They've won, 5 straight games. I did think they got a little fortunate, in that game against City, if I was being honest. I didn't think that first goal should have been counted, due to the offside. But, when you're running hot, these are the kind of decisions that fall your way, and United are taking advantage of them right now. For me, it's been their defense, especially. Since mid-October, Manchester United rank as the number one team in the league on defensive XGA away from home. Clearly as well by a substantial margin. Even teams who have allowed less total goals in them over that stretch in the road. Teams like City, Newcastle, Arsenal. Are clearly miles behind Manchester United in XG chances allowed. United really are an island out in their own in that regard. And, they've combined that with the league's number one offensive XG rating since November 1st as well. So, as you mentioned, Ten Hag's really got them playing well. They're getting it done at both ends of the pitch right now. And they face a Crystal Palace team in this one that have really struggled defensively at home this season. Palace have the second worst offensive XG at Sellers Park since October 1st. They've been shut out in both of the last two home games as well, against Tottenham, Fulham, respectively. Two solid teams, obviously, but two teams who nonetheless sit lower in the table than United do, and who have significantly worse defences than United as well. But, the one bright spark you might say for Palace ahead of this one is that their own defence has been steadily improving over recent games at home. We look back on the season as a whole. Palace at second from bottom in defensive scoring at home this year. They're giving up 1.67 goals per game to opponents on average. But again, talking about recency bias since mid-October, they're ever so slowly starting to drag themselves into a top half berth in the league on defensive XGA. And it's kind of been a strange phenomenon for Palace this season in terms of how good they've been defensively on the road compared with their home form. It's night and day pretty much. Only Man City, Arsenal and Newcastle have allowed fewer goals away from home this season than Crystal Palace have. Yet their defensive form at home, which is obviously going to be crucial to this one, has been abysmal. So, with that trend towards them getting better, perhaps we're starting to see that defensive frailties at home versus being good on the road start to mesh together a bit more over the last couple of months. So the main takeaway, for this game is, look, Crystal Palace are one of those teams who are always liable to pull off a big result. They beat United in this venue last year. They beat Arsenal. They beat City. So obviously you can never, discount them from pulling off a shock result. But that said, look, we know data-wise United are clearly the better team in this one. They're playing the better football right now. And with both teams doing a better job defensively of late, especially United, I'm quite happy to combine those trends here and take Man United to win an under 3.5 goals at plus 125 in this one. Did I get to the window on Wednesday?
I like that, and great breakdown, Kev. And when you talk about Palace, I like not in this game, but I like the way they play. Just because I'm a fan of Patrick Vieira and what he's done with this team, playing much better. But they seem to obviously be slowing down as this season progresses. And to your point of that game on that first goal for United, I thought if VAR would have called that offside. Now I get it. When Casemiro played it in, Rashford was offside, but the goal was scored by Fernandes. Now, if you're a United fan, you say that Rashford got out of the way, so Fernandes, who was onside, could score the goal. If you're a City fan, you say that it looked like Rashford made a play on the ball. And if you make a play on the ball when you're in an offside position, it doesn't matter if someone else scores the goal and you didn't touch it. If you made a play on the ball and missed it, it is an offside. So that was the arguments of at least as far as both sides go. Nick, give me your thoughts on this one. Final word on Crystal Palace and Man United.
I mean, you have to agree with Kevin as far as United are the better team. They should win the game more often than not. They just keep rolling along. They just look fantastic. Ten Hag, we mentioned last week, fastest United manager to 20 wins, which is remarkable in and of itself. But I'm a little hesitant here, and it's really just, I think this is a very, very difficult spot for Manchester United. You got them coming off of the big city win. Then you got Palace midweek. Midweek games, if you follow enough Premier League matches, tend to be goofy as it is. It's just, it throws teams off their schedules. And you add in the fact that Palace is right here, 3 days rest, another turnaround, another 3 or 4 days, and all of a sudden you got Arsenal. So you got Palace in between City and Arsenal. I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't be very surprised to see United kind of lapse a focus here. I don't have big enough cojones to bet against them. I'm going to say that right now. But I do see this as a spot that I just don't want to touch it just simply because of that. Listen, United can come in here and easily win this thing 2-0, 3-0. And I agree with Kevin if they do win. I mean, it's probably not going to be a goal fest, so his play is pretty solid. I'm just a little hesitant myself. The one trend that I've seen this year that I'll switch sides to, because I'm not going to look at the side here or even the total, is I'm going to look at the corner market. And that is the corners. United, surprisingly, for as good as they've been, you think of teams that play well and push the issue and get goals and generate as a team that can usually create corners. United doesn't generate a lot of corners. They rank 16th in the league. The average is 4.3 per match, and that drops to 3.3 on the road, which is the second fewest in the entire Premier League. Then Palace, meanwhile, they do a pretty good job at limiting corners, 4.8 per match, which ranks number 8 in the league. And that number drops to 3.9 at home. So, again, it's not a big play for me, and I'm just staying off the side because I'm nervous. But I see a little bit of value here on the corners market. United's corners total match total here is set at 5.5, and they haven't gone over that very much at all this season. So I'm going to take under 5.5 corners priced at -120 for this match. I'm just going to try to avoid the side or total and hope United just doesn't get a lot behind that back line for Palace.
All right, Nick Borman of WagerTalk.com, and as he mentioned, I think he has a 5% play up in tennis, but that's where those 7-day not tennis, in golf. That's where those 7-day all accesses come in handy. Get all of his tennis, all of his soccer, and all of his golf as well too. And you can pick those up at WagerTalk with a great deal. All right, we're going to head into another EPL game that goes this week, and that is Man City and Tottenham. Let's have a look at the numbers on this one. Man City at home -274. The draw is +432. And Tottenham +696, a big price if you like the Spurs. I do not like the Spurs in this one. Kevin and I think, are going to go mano a mano on this one. I'm going to make mine short and to the point. Obviously, a disappointing game for City, and they've now dropped. They dropped points to fall behind behind Arsenal. But at home, they've dropped 5 of their last 6 points. A loss 2 starts ago to Brentford, and then a draw to Everton. Games you would have thought that they would have won. 31-10 goal differential here. But here's the thing: 9 games at home. The first 7 went over the total with City scoring 4 or more goals, and 8 of the 9 games have had 3 or more goals in them, and that's where I'm leaning here. The total's at 3, and I get it's the Spurs, and the Spurs have been playing decent on the road. 16 goals for, 12 against through 9 games, but the Antonio Conte era at Tottenham could be coming to an end this season. If they finish outside the top 4, and I believe they will finish outside the top 4, I think this is City's game to blow them out, and that's where I'm going here. I'm taking the over 3 in this game, and I'm not going to overthink it. City to win this game, and for this game goes over the total. So City over the game over 3 for me. Kev, try and convince me to go the other way.
Yeah, I quite like the under in this one, Carmine. Sitting through Saturday's game against United, which we mentioned earlier, I don't believe I've seen such a string of games now where City, they just look so, just disjointed in attack. There was passes going left, right, centre, no one running onto them. Seemed to be a ton of miscommunication. I thought, Cancelo was probably the only player who stood out in the City side in terms of actually, creating something from effectively very little. So, there really does seem to be a real lack of cohesion in this Manchester City team right now. Maybe they're still suffering some kind of post-World Cup hangover. Who knows? But it's something that I want to sort out real quick, because, as you mentioned at the top of the show, Champions League is around the corner. Leipzig could be looking at that performance and, fancy their chances next month, perhaps, if City are still playing, in the same vein they've been playing in the Premier League of late. Saying that, though, the reason I like the under in this one, the one constant for City this season has been that defence. Number one defensive XG in the league this season. They're allowing the fewest shots on goal. They're allowing the second fewest goals from open play as well. Manchester City's main Achilles heel this year in defence has been in, additional factors. Almost 40% of all their goals allowed this year have come from either penalties, set pieces, or own goals. So they've perhaps been a little unfortunate in that regard. So I still have confidence in the City defence overall, just like I do with this Tottenham defence on the road as well. Spurs ranked 5th in the league on defensive scoring away from home this season. They've got one of the lowest shot conversion percentages in the entire league as well. So with City's overall defensive record this season, combined with Tottenham's defensive record away from home, plus the fact, obviously, Tottenham have yet to score a single counter-attacking goal away from home this year. They've been forced to rely an awful lot on set-piece creation. And that's key in this game, because it's been very difficult to break open this City defence through conventional means. City ranks 2nd in the league on goals allowed from open play situations, as we mentioned before. But only 4 teams have given up more counter-attacking goals than City have this year. So you need to hit them fast on the break if you're going to get production. Something that, Tottenham have struggled doing away from home. So I just don't see a ton of goals in this one. And, with the added pressure of both clubs needing a result in this one as well, I'm just going to bounce the total up a quarter goal here to 3.25. That's widely available at most books around the minus 145 mark. And take the under in this one in what I expect to potentially be a cagier type affair here on Thursday between these two. So, yeah, under 3.25 goals in the Tottenham Man City game, which, as I said, is widely available on the alternative line market.
Kev, I think we should, we're going to go mano this game. I think we should live tweet this game because, as I mentioned, through 9 games at home for City, the first 7 games, I basically took the same prop in 6 of them, which was City win over 3.5, because it was always plus money. And City win over 3.5 in this game is plus 175. The City win under 3.5 is, I believe, plus 145. But that's the way I'm going in this game. So we're going mano a mano, you and I. Listen, I get it. That last game against United, United played a masterful game in shutting City down, because they had Fred shadowing Kevin De Bruyne the whole game. If you looked at Kevin, it was Kevin De Bruyne. Literally, Fred was standing a couple of feet away from him, and you take De Bruyne out of the game, you basically take Haaland out of the game, and that's what they did in that game. I just don't see who on Tottenham can replicate what Fred did to Kevin De Bruyne. He's a tough guy to slow down. So we'll see. You and I will just live tweet this game, and we'll go at each other, and we'll see who comes out on top at the end of this one. All right, buddy? You good with that?
Yeah, I'm all good with that, Carmine. Yep.
All right. Before we get to our last game, guys, which is the Coppa Italia game, it's Tuesday, so obviously it is $2 Tuesdays over at WagerTalk and Sports Memo. $2 Tuesdays is where you can get a featured cappers plays for only $2, and these are plays that normally go for $25 and $35. Along with that play, there are some fantastic deals as well too. Over at WagerTalk, Teddy covers with an NBA play. Again, you can get that for $2, and then over at Sports Memo, it is the standard deal. You can get 3 cappers for $5, or each capper for $2 separately. And it is Matt Josephs with a college basketball play, Eric Pauly with an NFL play, and you capper with an NBA play. Again, you can get all 3 of those Sports Memo cappers for $5 together, or $2 separately. And of course, Teddy's at WagerTalk, an NBA play for only $2. All right, final game on the card. And we leave the Italians until the end with a Coppa America game. Coppa Italia game. Juventus and Monza. Let's have a look at the odds on this one. Juventus minus 182. The draw is plus 306. Monza plus 543. They upset Juventus at home, but they're now in Turin. Bryan, I'm going to go to you first on this one.
Okay, so I think we all remember what happened over the weekend to Juventus. I mean, the walls came crashing down. They hadn't given up a goal in 8 straight, I believe, and they give up 5 to Napoli. But there's a big difference, obviously, between facing the current Serie A leaders and Monza. Even though, really, when you look at Monza, you mentioned the 1-0 win they had against Juventus, Carmine, but otherwise, they performed fairly admirably. They're 12 points clear of the relegation zone, so you expect they'll survive. That's probably all they were looking for coming into the season. They've got a 4-match unbeaten run in the league, 2 wins in there, including Saturday, and then they had a draw with Inter Milan. So they're feeling pretty good. And looking back, there have been only 5 times all season where Monza hasn't scored a goal. 3 of those September 5th or earlier. So, Juventus, they'd been dominant before running into Napoli. But when you have an incredible streak like that, you build up some likely regression moving forward. And you look at expected goals allowed. Juventus, they've conceded about 7 fewer than expected. That's the second widest positive gap in the league this season. And, the positive, though, is the last match that Juventus didn't score was October 11th in the Champions League. So that's a run of 11 straight. Monza, not great defensively, I wouldn't say. So I think we know where I'm going with this one. 3rd week in a row, we have a both teams to score prop, and that is what I am doing on this one. Juventus, they're going to come out with some fire after, the players are questioned by the manager. So I expect both teams to get on the score sheet in this one, Carmine.
All right, I like it. And Nick, he mentioned that great run for Juventus. A lot of those games were with a makeshift lineups. They brought a lot of their youngsters in, and you wonder about this Coppa Italia game and whether they go back to that as well too, because I think their focus more so than the Coppa Italia is obviously trying to finish top 4 in Serie A, and obviously taking that huge defeat hurts. Vlahovic's back in training with the side. Pogba's back in training, but I think they're focusing on. I think we see a few youngsters at least in this lineup. I'm not sure what importance they put on this one, but give me your thoughts.
Yeah, that's always the challenge. You got a cup match midweek, sandwiched between another spot where it's sandwiched between 2 big league games. Napoli, obviously, this past weekend, which Bryan mentioned, they got demolished, and then Atalanta coming up this upcoming weekend, and another important match to keep their top 4 run here, because obviously they're out of Champions League football at this point, so they want to get back to that scene again this year. So it's hard to predict right now because we don't know the lineups. I'm going to assume that, let's say, just for the sake of of making a play here, that the lineups are going to be relatively strong. You mentioned their 8-game run without scoring. Well, 5 of the teams they faced during that run were weak teams that had negative expected goal differentials. Two of them were barely over positive numbers with Udinese and Lazio, and then of course you have Inter. So it's not like they faced the toughest competition during that run, but they did a good job and that's what that's their pedigree over however many years you got to go back now, is that Juve will beat up on the weakest teams, and their fault will be they can't quite score or keep up with the best teams in the world. And they've been doing that, and I think Monza falls right into that category of a team that is not that good. They have a negative expected goal differential themselves. This is a cup match. Maybe they go for the glory here, because obviously they're not going to do anything in the league play as far as top 4, but they're safe from relegation. So maybe Monza comes out here full lineup. They go for the glory. They're doing everything they can to score. But if Juve have even a halfway decent lineup out there, I just don't see a lot of opportunity for Monza to score. They could net one. But I don't see a lot of chances for them to do so. So I don't like the spread where it is right now for Juve, just because I think it's a little bit too high for a cup match. That's in a bad spot for them. But I figure they do find a way to win this game at home and move on in the cup. They tend to perform pretty well in the cup and at least get to the quarterfinal, semifinal stage. So you can take Juve money line and pair that with under 3.5 goals, and you can get a plus number on it, plus 115. This could very well be another 1-0, 2-0 classic Juve win. But if Bryan's play comes through, which is, both teams to score, that 2-1 still gets us home on this one as well. So I just don't see a lot of chances for Monza here. And I think Juve will, at least assuming they put out a decent lineup, will do everything they can to get their confidence back defensively, because allowing 5 goals this past weekend kind of rips that apart for me really quickly. So I'm going to go with Juve money line plus under 3.5 goals, get a small plus price on it, and hope that one cashes.
All right, Nick Borman, Wager Talk. Let's get a 2-1 Juve final. Everyone is happy. Everyone cashes. And at the end of the day, that's what this show is about, trying to give you some actionable info and some plays that can cash for you. Before we go to our recap segment and find out what everyone has up at Wager Talk, we'll be back on Thursday and we'll cover some EPL games and then any other big games of interest that might be going on this weekend across all of Europe. With that said, let's go to our recap segment. And Kev, let us know what you have up at Wager Talk.
Well, as you mentioned at the top of the show, Carmine, the MLS season package is up right now. Last year we finished 44-24. It was a phenomenal season, and it was kind of funny because, every week I was going 3-1, 4-1. I keep going back to the Wager Talk rankings, and I'm like, well, I'm bound to be number one now. 44-24 is a phenomenal record. Every week I'd see my name in number 2. There would be Nick Borman. Would be at number 1. So I would suggest, if you like money, you got to pick up Nick's MLS package because it's phenomenal. In terms of what I have up this week, I got 3 soccer players already loaded. You've heard about some of them today on today's show, and I've got a 5% circled. I haven't loaded it up yet because I'm just working on some of the numbers, but should have that up soon for the weekend slate in soccer. So looking forward to that.
All right, I'm going to go one further, Kev. As you're talking about that, it gave me a fantastic idea. If you plan on buying MLS soccer from either Nick or Kevin, do not do it today. Do not do it tomorrow. Do it on Thursday. And Nick will be hosting on Thursday as I am traveling, so I will be away this week. It'll be Nick, Kevin, Bryan, and Pavlos, but I will have our customer service put up a BOGO package, buy one, get one, Nick and Kevin's MLS plays for the full season. So give us a day or two for me to pull that together, and it'll be available on a Thursday's show, and Nick will fill you in on that. All right, with that said, Bryan, let's go to you to tell us know what you have up at Wager Talk, and we'll look at your leans on today's show.
Yeah, Carmine, always great to be here. Tuesday, all about basketball. We have a 4% best bet in NBA, 4% best bet in college as well. Up available on my page. We're breaking down the NFL, obviously. Should have some stuff up there in the next 24 hours. Again, we won our 5th straight 5% play on Sunday with the Ravens. I anticipate there will be another 5% play. I think that I know who it's going to be this weekend. So we'll go for 6 straight this weekend, and hopefully a great week.
All right, best of luck to you. I'm glad you didn't say who it was because we're alive to air right now.
Yeah, I know. I was this close to just almost giving it away there for a second. So yeah, I caught myself. Believe it or not, that would have been embarrassing. I would have started shooting. Kill the feed. Yeah,
it reminds me. Honestly, a couple years back, I think the Prez was hosting Puck Time at the time. And I had a 5% play up, and he literally says towards the end of the show, he just goes, I'm just going to let you know who Carmine's 5% play is. And he blurts out my 5% play. And I now have to get messages from so many clients who bought the play. And I'm like, Prez, why would you do that? It was when you're the owner of the company or one of the owners of the company, I guess you can do some of this random rogue stuff, but he'll never do that again because I chewed him out after the show. Nick, let us know what you have up at Wager Talk. I think a lot of action and play across a lot of sports for you, so let us know what you have, and we'll see your leans.
Yeah, thanks, Carmen. If you want something to bet 24 hours a day, we got the Australian Open going 7 p.m. and it starts usually at night on the Eastern time zone and goes through the wee early morning hours the following day. So that's going on. We got another 5% play up for golf. 1-0 so far this year and up on a very profitable season so far in the PGA Tour. So we got that going. Tees off on Thursday. And then one soccer play going for today, Tuesday, and 4% best bet set for action on Wednesday. And then, yes, promo. Looking forward to having that promo for Thursday's show. Buy Nick's package, and we're going to give you Kevin's for free. Thank you, Kevin. Much appreciated that you're going to chime in there.
Oh, no problem.
Oh,
Whatever
God.
I can do to make the show better.
The phones in the customer service office in Detroit are ringing off the hook right now. It'll be a good deal. It won't be one of those ones, but I'll make sure that for all of you out there, if you want MLS plays, these two guys are absolutely on. They're on fire last year. I'll put together a good deal that it'll be worth the money, and it'll be available for you as early as tomorrow as well too. You can check either Nick's or Kevin's page and purchase it on either page. You'll see it in the special section on the right hand side. As far as myself, one play up right now in NHL tonight. It is a 5% play. We'll look to see if we can hit another one. We started the 2023 off with the Florida Panthers plus 110 in Colorado as a 5% winner. Let's see if we can make a tune roll to start the year. I'll have a couple other NHL plays up as well too. No soccer today, but I will have soccer cards for Wednesday and Thursday, and you can pick those up at WagerTalk. So maybe the 3-day all access isn't a bad way to go, and you can get that 5% play today, any additional hockey plays today, and then everything for tomorrow and Thursday. Guys, we'll be back on Thursday. It'll be Nick in the hosting chair, along with Bryan, Kevin, and Pavlos of Sports Memo. Again, we wish you the best of luck. Thanks for tuning in, and good luck with your wagers. This is Stoppage Time.
College football is over, the NFL is winding down, and as we turn our attention to the ice and hardwood until Sunday, January 22nd, we are slashing NBA, college basketball, and NHL season passes from $4.59 all the way down to $2.99 with no coupon needed. This special price locks in your favorite handicappers in the sport of your choice through the championship for pennies on the dollar versus buying daily packages. And since the price will remain $2.99 through midnight on January 22nd, the earlier you buy, the more days you get included at no additional cost. How much are you saving? College basketball comes to just $3.55 per day through March Madness, and the NBA and NHL discounts come out to just under $60 per month to lock in your favorite handicapper through the finals or Stanley Cup. Go to your favorite handicappers page at WagerTalk and or Sports Memo and lock in your sports through the championship for only $2.99 each. If you want to combine handicappers or multiple sports, email us and we can work out an even more significant discount for you.